Hi everyone, I hope you're okay, and I hope that the videos we keep uploading are helping you out. This is video number 6, guys, which simply means I'm answering the 6th question, whereby I'm focusing on the May June Mathematics Paper 1 examination. Please do note that the other videos, guys, are already uploaded, and each and every question will have its own video. So it's very important for you to know how to tackle exam questions, guys, because it will give you an edge whenever you write your examination. So please do share the video to your peers so that they may have the same edge as you. Okay, we are told that the graphs of f of x and g of x are drawn below. D and E are the x-intercept and P is the y-intercept of f. The turning point of f is T, and the graphs of f and g intersect at both P and E. Okay, since we are given the coordinates of the turning point, let me just write them. And whenever I'm given the quadratic or the equation of a parabola like that, the examiner is trying to tell me the value of the y-intercept. The constant term over there is my y-intercept. So I know that I have -3 over there. Yeah? Okay, let's answer the questions. We are supposed to write down the range of f. For you guys to know the range, all you have to do is to just open your eyes. Check the graph of x. If your graph is concave up, together, it simply means that the range would be y is greater or equal to the y value at the turning point. Are you together? And if your graph was concave down, your range would have been y is less than the y value at the turning point. Are you together? But I do know the y value at my turning point, that's -4. So it simply means that my range, I'll simply say y is greater or equals to a -4. That's my range. Okay, 6.2, they want us to calculate the coordinates of D and E. D and E represents the x-intercept of f of x. And I don't care, guys, what kind of a graph you have. But if ever you want to calculate the x-intercept, you must always make y to be equal to 0 and then solve x. So that means whenever I come across y, I'll substitute to 0 and then I'll solve x. X squared minus 2x minus 3. Are you together? And then I can simply factorize. I want the factors of 3. That's when I subtract will give me 2. That's x and x. That's 3 and 1 minus and plus. And then x is basically equals to 3 or x is -1. So I now know that the coordinates of E, I simply have 3 and 0. And then the coordinates of D, there's -1 and 0. Are you together? D is -1 and 0. And then E, that's 3 and 0. And then now they want us to determine the equation of G. G is the straight line that intersects f of x at both P and E. Okay, so G of x is basically equals to mx plus c because it's a straight line, right? However, we know the value of c because both of the graphs have a common y-intercept, right? So this thing is equals to mx minus 3. For me to know the equation of the graph, I just need to find the gradient. Are you together? So how can I find the gradient? If I can just substitute any point on the graph, I'll simply take point E there. I know that y is 0 whenever x is 3. And then I'll simply have 3 on the other side is equals to 3m. Therefore, m is equals to 1. It simply means that the equation of g of x, since the gradient is 1, I'll simply say this is x minus 3 because I do know the value of the y-intercept. It's -3. Okay, now I must write down the values of x for which f of x minus g of x is greater than 0. You can rewrite this statement over here like this: f of x is greater than g of x. So basically, I'm looking for the values of x whereby my graph of f of x is above the graph of g of x. Are you together? If I can check from this point of intersection moving to the left, I can see that f of x is above the graph of g of x. So the first solution, that's x is less than 0. Are you together? And then over here, from this point of intersection moving towards the right, I can see that the graph of f of x is above the graph of g of x. So when x is greater than 3, those are my two solutions. Are you together? Okay, and then now 6.5, I'm being asked to determine the maximum vertical distance between h and g if h is derived from reflecting the graph of f on the x-axis. Okay, so basically they want us to take the graph of let me remove these things over there so that we can have room to write. The graph of f was reflected on the x-axis, so it simply means our graph will simply be like this. The same turning point, the same y-intercept. Our turning point would have been 1 and positive 4. So this is the graph of h. Graph of h is equals to negative f of x. So basically the graph of h, you'll just multiply the f of x with negative, right? You'll simply have negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. All right, together. So the graph of h has that equation over there. They want us to find the maximum vertical distance between h and f. The maximum vertical distance between h and f. So how can we do that? Since they want a vertical distance, guys, it's always the top graph minus the bottom graph. We'll call our distance d of x. The distance is d of x. We'll get it by saying h of x minus g of x. H of x is basically equals to negative x squared plus 2x plus 3 minus g of x. G of x is equal to x minus 3. And therefore we'll simply have negative x squared plus 2x plus 3 minus x plus 3. So the distance, the vertical distance between the two graphs h and g, we'll simply find them by this expression, negative x squared plus x plus 6. This equation over here will simply give us any vertical distance between h and g. Are you together? But since they told us that they want us to find the maximum distance, once you come across the word maximum, guys, in maths, please note that you are supposed to find the derivative. So all you have to do is to say the derivative of the distance will basically be negative 2x plus 1. Are you together? But for maximum, I know that the derivative is always equals to 0. So therefore, negative 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. And negative 2x is equals to negative 1. And then x is just equals to a half. After finding the value of x, I can simply go to this equation over there and substitute the value of x for me to find the maximum distance. Right, together. So I'll simply say d of half is basically negative half squared plus half plus 6. So let's see what will that give us. 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 2 plus 6. 25 over 4, which is basically 6.25 units. So the vertical distance, the maximum vertical distance is basically 6.25 units. All right, together, the maximum distance is equal to 25 over 4, which is also 6.25 units. And then now we are given that k of x is just equals to g of x minus n. Okay, k of x is basically equals to g of x minus n, but g of x is equals to x minus 3, so we still have a negative n. So this equation is an equation for k of x rather, né? And then now we are being asked to determine the values of n if k is a tangent to f. Guys, the relationship between a line and a curve, né? If a line, if you have a curve like this, okay, let me not draw the axis. Let's say you have a curve like a curve like this, né? And then your line intersects the curve. It simply means that delta for the intersection, please go back to your nature of roots. Delta for the intersection is greater than 0. Are you together? If the two do not intersect, they are just far apart, delta for the intersection is less than 0. But now, if the two are just tangential to one another, the curve just touches the line just touches the curve, it simply means that delta for the intersection is equals to 0. Are you together? So I know that I'm looking for the values of n so that k is a tangent. I'll go back to my nature of roots, find the equation of my intersection, and then after that make delta for that intersection to be equal to 0, and then solve for s, and then solve for n. Okay. Since guys are dealing with intersection, né? For us to find a point of intersection, we must equate the two graphs. So that means k of x is equals to f of x, né? K of x is basically x minus 3 minus n. F of x was given to us as x squared minus 2x minus 3. Let me confirm. Yeah, x squared minus 2x minus 3. And then you must make sure that your equation is in standard form. I'll simply have x squared minus 2x. I still have a minus 3, né? And then I'll bring these to the other side. And whenever I do that, they will change the sign. So the positive x will become negative x. The negative 3 will become a positive 3. The negative x will also become a positive n. And please note that this is equals to 0. Okay, and then I'll be left with x squared minus 3x plus n. This is equals to 0. All right, together. So I now know that, okay, this equation will give me the point of intersection. Are you together? But since I know that both the line and the curve, they are just tangential to one another, it simply means delta is greater than 0. No man, delta is equals to 0. Excuse me. Are you together? But what is delta? Delta is the discriminant, and we get delta by saying b squared minus 4ac. Any number in front of x is b, so that's negative 3. And then any number in front of x squared is a, and the coefficient of x squared is 1. And then any term that does not have x is regarded as a constant. So we have n over there. So this will basically give us 9 minus 4n is equals to 0. Then negative 4n is equals to negative 9. If you divide both sides by 4, then n is just 9 over 4. The value of n is equals to 9 over 4. Let me write it in black. Therefore, n is 9 over 4. That's how, guys, we're supposed to tackle that question over there. So just stay tuned and wait for more videos. Thank you.